Fucking doing, mate? Hello and welcome to another car camping and adventure video. Today we're heading down to Dryandra. We're going to go hopefully camp at Congelin sighting, and I have a bit of a route planned over today and tomorrow. We're going to check out some cool things around the Dryandra region, around the forest, including a hike. There'll be a short hike this afternoon and a longer hike tomorrow. So yeah, I think this is actually the very first hiking and camping video. Usually it's either or. Now we are filming on a long weekend. Usually I get a little bit nervous about camping on a long weekend because everyone else in Perth probably is deciding to do the same thing. I've done it a couple of times, mostly with success. There was only one time where we went out to the wheat belts. It was by a lake, even though it was a salt lake, and we arrived there pretty late in the day, like 5 p.m, absolutely packed. But the few other times I have been camping on a long weekend, it's been surprisingly quiet as long as you stay away from the coast. Dryandra is one of the places I have been to on the long weekend, and there was no one there. So basically my mantra is I'm going to be a little bit, because you can't book it, it's first come, first served. So I'm going to sorry, car control there took over my brain for a second. So in my mind, if I worry about not being able to find a spot, it's going to be absolutely empty, there's going to be no one there. But if I go in being like, yeah, there'll be somewhere to camp, I'll rock up and it'll be packed. On the plus side, I have been camping down around Dryandra a couple of times now, so I do know a few spots. So fingers crossed. Well, all the caravan spots were taken up, which is a little bit of a shame, but we're in the more proper camping section here, which I've actually never camped in before, so this will certainly do. There is another campsite across the road, but it does look like that one's actually sort of better than this one, so I figured if all those are full, that one's probably full too, but I might walk over there and just have a look later on. But I don't know, maybe the problem with this is there's bollards, which is why I rather the caravan slash camper van sort of setups. But, and this is also sloping towards the road. So according to the leveler inside of the vehicle, it says we're at 0 degrees. So we'll see how we go. Park that way, put the awning out. Shouldn't be too bad. We've got a table there and we can light a fire over there as well. So yeah, should be good. Hopefully no one rowdy rocks up. No one rowdier than me, at least. Or Annika. Well, I think Dryandra public holiday camping is officially off. We got here about 2 o'clock and there's been non-stop cars trying to come in and camp after us. So yeah, pretty busy. So it's definitely going to impact how I film. We're not too close to people, so we'll see how we go. I had no trouble putting up the changing tent this time around, but I wasn't going to film it because I would have just jinxed it. As you can see, I'm hiding behind a tree so no one stares at me. I do have a few new bits of equipment to set up and show you with a hushed voice, like I'm talking right now. I meant to take a shot of my car all packed up. I used to have 2 containers and I've managed to consolidate that into one because of some new equipment. So I guess we'll go check that out and awkwardly film. So here's new equipment, number 1. Only $129 from Anaconda. So we've I've gotten rid of my collapsible sink. There's this one here. It's a bit smaller, but that's fine. Got rid of the bin stand, and then also some other storage, but yeah. I'm missing a hole for this though to hang it up, so let's fix that. Okay, as promised, the former Congelin Railway. As you can see, we have a water tower. I'll give you a bit more facts and history once we sort of get away from the other people. See these channels here? Let's go for a walk. So this is a pretty easy hike, hence why I'm doing it as the sun's setting. It's about 2 kilometers, but that's there and back. These channels here are important as well. There's actually one of those channels just behind our campsite, so I'll try and remember to get some B-roll of that to insert now. Okay, I was on the wrong path. As you can see, this looks like a bit more of a siding. Drainage channels down the side. Okay, the Congelin Railway siding. So many drainage channels. I wonder why. This is otherwise known as the Narrogin or Dryandra Railway. It was originally built in 1912 and was eventually extended to Dwellingup. It served the local farmers and also the timber industry, and we'll be delving a bit deeper into the local timber industry tomorrow when we go on a hike. So this is actually the 3rd time I've walked up and down this old track. The first time I actually came here for a membership video. The very first time I went car camping was at Pompey's Bridge, about 15 minutes from here. So I came here at the end of that membership video. I've also been here and not filmed a video with Annika. We went up and down together. And yeah, I figured it's interesting enough to include in a Brendan Goes Outside video because they didn't actually exist the first time I came here. So we have our first landmark, phone call away. In front of us, let me just adjust my camera there a bit. Absolute professionalism as per usual. So here we have a telephone pole. This is the last surviving pole out of the whole network that used to run alongside the railway track. To make a call, say if they broke down or for whatever other reason, they would have a handset in the train and they'd actually throw the wire over the line. That would make the connection, and that's how they would talk to whoever was at the other end of the phone. So we are approaching the old dam. Looks like people have parked up there to camp. Not totally sure if you are allowed to camp up there, but we've already had people come through asking for payment and they weren't kicked out, so I guess that's probably not an issue. So down here we have another landmark. You can pause this and give it a read if you like. That may just look like a log, and I guess it is, but this was actually to help drainage. It was a pipe, I guess you could say, but made out of a log, which I think is really cool. Looks like it, I don't know if that's a burrow or if it originally went under the railway embankment. As you can see there, it's quite prominent. And over here, we have the remains of a bridge, although a very small bridge. See? Choo-choo. So that's the old bridge there. Looks like maybe termites have gotten into there. I'm not scared of much, but I'm scared of termites getting into my roof. Also scared of going blind. And yeah, basically termites and going blind. Those are 2 things that I'm definitely afraid of. So we're just walking around the outer edge of the dam right now. There is like a picnic table and some concrete footings and stuff over there. I guess I'll just insert some footage from the last time I was here. I'll probably actually use drone footage from the last time I was here as well. I do have my drone. I mean, I have it back at the camp. As you can see, I'm not wearing a bag. It's kind of nice hiking without a bag. So the landscape might look a little bit different. It's the start of winter now. I think it was at the end of, might have been like sometime in spring, the first time I came here. Should have chugged some water. My throat is all dry. I've been a bit sick this week. Absolute sick cunt as per usual. So I was worried this trip wasn't going to happen, but glad it did. I am feeling better, but Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, we've got a much bigger bridge over here, which I would like to show you. I always love seeing these signs out in the bush. It means there is something cool to look at. And you can give that a pause and a read if you like, but I will be explaining it. Well, I guess I can explain it right now. So this whole area is a water catchment area. I'm not sure if that's a natural creek or not. It might be man-made. But for kilometers in each direction, water feeds into this dam, which is just behind me. But first off, check out this bridge. Love it. Should we go under? Probably shouldn't. It's been up this long. Don't follow me, don't follow me, don't follow me. Yeah, I made it out. Very cool. So along here is, I guess you could say, the accumulation of all the channels in the bush surrounding us. It all heads into this dam, but before it gets to the dam, it gets into this silt trap. So I'm unsure if I've ever, I think it's always been dry when I've been here, but you can see that's the remains of the gate that used to be here. Let's go over there. I don't know if I want to walk through this. Let's go around. So I was just double checking my notes. The catchment area is actually 13 square kilometers. There's a big system of drainage channels around everywhere, and there's some people on the other side of the lake looking at me, so I'm just going to hide behind this tree. The dam's capacity is 4.25 million gallons, and this would have been pumped to a nearby overhead tank using a steam engine, which was in turn used to supply the trains. And it's interesting reading about dam placement. Where are my notes on that? So obviously the water was needed for the steam train, so as such, the location of the dam in part determined the location of the railway route and the siding. So the dam needed to be in a position where there's enough catchment to feed it, but also a decent elevation to gravitate water to the siding where it's needed. See how much water is in the dam today. Not much. I do believe it was a little bit full, more full the last time I was here. This is a bad time of day to try and take thumbnails. Try and at least illuminate my face. We'll do what we can. There's places tomorrow I could possibly get a thumbnail, so don't stress about it. Yes, I was just having a bit of a better read of my notes, which are actually from when I created the video for the membership. But and I've lost what I was going to say. So a little bit more on this silt trap. This toned down the amount of silt and other debris finding its way into the dam. That's why it has like the little bit of the pool there and the dog leg, just to try and keep as much crap out of the dam as well. And the actual dam itself was dug out using horse-drawn scoops. So that's how it was back in the day, but I can imagine that would have just taken a very long time. And also just to add on to that, what I was calling a pipe before, better terminology would be a culvert. And the people that were over there, I think they might have been waving at me, I'm not sure. They've actually now left, so I am going to head back down there and just have a look and show you guys for posterity. So I don't know if you remember the other day, I was talking about when I saw and heard a big branch fall down as I was walking. I can't remember which video that was in, but that was over here. So you see those trees at the top there? We just heard a massive crack, and then one of those big branches fell off, which is pretty nuts. So it's always worth having a look where you're camping. Make sure there's nothing above you that can fall and crush you. So here's the area I was talking about before. Nothing too interesting. Like I said, just some concrete footings. But this is the track here, and probably has the length, yeah, not even 2 kilometers, 1.6. You could probably run that in about 4 minutes. Maybe not, but anyway, give that a pause if you want to give it a full read. I'm not sure if you are allowed to camp here or not. I would imagine not, but it'd be a pretty mint sight otherwise. But I can't imagine what the mosquitoes are like once the sun dips below those trees. And yes, apologies for my voice. It's kind of straining to talk, but it's better than me being all, you know, snotty and spluttery and coughing like I was. I was coughing so much the other day that my whole face, all the muscles in my face started to hurt really badly, and I got like a migraine because of it. I was pretty annoyed by that because I thought the sickness is more or less over. You know, usually you cough at the end, but yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. It's all worked out. We are at camp. The weather's good. We did find a campsite. That's the most important bit. Yeah, like I was sort of saying before, we got here about 2 o'clock, and as soon as we parked up, groups of people kept coming in, including a bunch of people on like big motorcycles, like Harley Davidson motorcycles. And they were even like, one of them like even rode for our camp and stuff, which was a bit shit of them, to be honest, but luckily they didn't stick around. You could hear them coming for a good 10 minutes, just that rah, 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 rah. So yeah, we've got a couple of sleepers here. 3 of them. So where we're camped is about halfway down this track, so there's a bit more to show on the other end. I'm just gonna swing past the camp, drink some water to hopefully help my throat not feel so dry, and I'll show you the last landmark of the Congelin Railway. So yeah, if you're into old railway stuff and you love camping, this place is definitely worth checking out. It used to be a lot more quiet because it is a fairly new campsite, but it looks like people have cottoned on. Like Annika said, maybe someone released a viral TikTok or something. God, I sound like such an old man saying it like that. So in 1954, the state government compiled a list of loss-making railways. This section of the railway had an expenditure of over £12,000 for the entire year, but it only earned £915. As such, it would close at the end of 1960. Looks like we have another old telephone pole here. Maybe 2. Either that or it's a log. And these are one of the drainage tunnels. We've got some bits of old fence to trip over as well. So over and around there is the caravan area. There's only like half a dozen spots, something like that. Completely filled up by the time we got here at 2 o'clock. There is a separate campsite across the road, which I keep forgetting the name of. I'll put that on screen now. It has a lot more caravan spots, like 30 or 20. Apparently someone else told me that they're already completely filled up as well. So here we have some old stockyards. Just realised I was talking with this in my pocket. Whoops. So apparently there were specialised rail cars that helped load the sheep on and off, possibly other livestock. But if we head over here, we actually have a recreation, and we also have a loading platform here as well. So I think the railway was actually running through there. I'm not entirely sure, it's a little bit hard to tell. So here we have a recreation, and this was built by the Toyota Land Cruiser Club of Western Australia. I've seen some other signs around that say they, what was the wording? They were the guardians of this area? No, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, they look after the area. Obviously they four-wheel drive responsibly, I guess. I've never actually been over to this side before. I don't actually know what's over here. So we got some big posts. Those are new to me. New to you too, maybe. Oh, fresh got a road. So, yeah, look, if you can't find a spot at the actual campsites, it's possible you could be a little bit naughty. I don't know. How do you guys feel about dispersed camping? I know they've brought in all sorts of rules against it because people aren't doing the right thing. They're lighting fires where they shouldn't be. They're littering. Littering and lighting fires are the big ones, really. Would any of my viewers get pissed off if I ever did any sort of off-the-grid stealth type camping in the video? Let me know how you feel about it. I'll start walking in this direction because I'm not going anywhere. I'd like to think that you know that I'd be responsible. I definitely wouldn't litter. In fact, I'd probably pick up other people's rubbish on the way out, and I definitely wouldn't be lighting a fire unless I was allowed to. So yeah, I don't know. It would definitely make better videos because I won't be near anyone else. Luckily our neighbours are quite nice. We've already sort of had a couple of chats with them. And a guy who watches my videos, Cal, shout out Cal, he's camped nearby as well. We've talked over email before, and he just happened to be camping here as well, so that's pretty cool. He assured me he wasn't stalking me, okay? So yeah, that's where we camped last time. I'll throw up a couple of photos. Through here, you can kind of see the track bed through there. It's all pretty overgrown. I've actually sort of explored a little bit in that direction, but from what I could tell, there's no more railway remains, and it just keeps going until it hits farmland, basically. Yeah, so it looks like we did have some sort of something or other here. Who knows what. There's the loading platform there. And yeah, there's a sign over there. Let's see what that says. That's just the same sign that was down near the dam. But here's the caravan area. And yeah, that's it. Let's head back to camp. Sun's about to set. If you're curious, it's pretty cheap to camp here. As you can probably guess, you can't book spots. It's first come, first serve. But it's $15 per adult. And then I believe it is cheaper if you have a concession. Nothing better for a dry throat. So here's our other piece of equipment. Annika is said she would like to get a little bit more comfy, you know, when she's playing a Switch or watching videos or whatever once the sun goes down. So we had to do Secret Santa for her and her family. I got her this. This was not her Christmas present. Just want to put that out there. She did get an actual Christmas present from me, but I found this on Amazon. It's extremely cheap. It comes with an air pump. God. There's no way in hell we're ever getting this back into the box. Ever. This is definitely the coolest piece of kit that has been added. It's a battery built-in inverter. That's 600 watts, pure sine wave. This was gifted to me by a subscriber named Peter. I hope I'm saying your name there. It's spelt a little bit differently, but I believe it's pronounced Peter. Please let me know. I'm very sorry if I'm getting that wrong. But he upgraded his own setup and he put it on Marketplace or Gumtree or whatever, and no one seemed to want to buy it. So he gave it to me. So the first thing we're going to use it for is the pump that came with the chair. But probably the most useful thing for me is the laptop. I like to do some, you know, footage backup, a little bit of editing, that stuff. If I'm just using a laptop by itself on the battery, it runs out really quickly. So thanks again, Peter. I really appreciate it. Repair pouches. Got a leak. I just don't think I pushed it in far enough.
Is it meant to recline that much?
Yeah, that's what the lady on the box is doing. So a couple more clips before the sun sets, well, completely. So there's our camp. This is one of the drainage channels along here. I'll just talk about the bush for a second. A few more trees out here, a little bit more mature. One of the reasons I think Dryandra wasn't very busy originally is because this area anyway is all reclaimed bushland. Although this is looking a little bit more older. But around here and over there, The trees are incredibly skinny, and I kind of like it. I feel like it's, you know, they sort of look old and weathered, even though they're probably quite young. Maybe, feel free to correct me. But I think it looks unique. That's the reason why I like it. But yeah, check it out. Spoken to a few people. They've talked about the little critters they've seen. So far an echidna and a wally has been spotted. Knowing my luck, probably won't see either. Last time we came here, all we saw was a possum. I see plenty of those in the city, but obviously it was trying to, you know, steal food off us. But it was kind of cool hanging out with a possum, regardless. Get some shots, just cut it up. Oi, leave my guideline alone. Okay, so I'm just hiding behind my car to show you the last piece of equipment that I've newly bought for this. The lighting's a bit dodgy, sorry about that. And I did talk about this in a hiking video. This is a jet boil stove. So people definitely have opinions about these, which is fair enough. They're not the cheapest. They're pretty over-engineered. I agree with that. But I had a very specific use case, and this sort of ticks all the boxes. So I will be using this for hiking to begin with. I know it is kind of big. But I might potentially buy something a bit more smaller and streamlined for overnight hiking if it does turn out to be so big. But for car camping, this thing's amazing. Obviously, I've got the actual stove over there for cooking, but boiling water was a big sticking point for me. That butane stove with the traditional kettle, like the whistle kettle, it would, on a good day, it would take over 7 minutes to boil water. And if it was cold, a little bit of wind, you know, sometimes you're mucking around with it and it could take 10 or 15 minutes. This boils water in like under 2 minutes. That's half a litre. So yeah, that's sort of the reason I bought it. It's very nifty. I am very impressed. And I'll let you know just on the price side of things. You can buy these on Amazon from America for Amazon Prime, and they're a lot cheaper than buying locally retail. So yeah, that's sort of the way I got around it. Obviously you have to wait like 2 weeks for postage or whatever, but it's free because it's through, well, free in the way, you know, because it's through Amazon Prime. So obviously you're paying for that. But yeah, we're doing some washing up now, and usually it'd be a bit of an ordeal to, you know, get the water boiled. But yeah, I'll show you it in action. Hopefully the light picks it up. See it? I think that's a good enough split for the video.
Anyway, this is a conversation that was coming later.
Go down on Monday and come home on Friday.
Well, as you can see, I've got my hiking boots on. I thought I would just go for a little bit of an explore up this way as I drink my coffee, see what's what. I'd imagine it's just probably more bush and then farmland. We have reached the fog line. The terrain is getting a little bit arduous for my sporting socks and slides combo. Ah, that's good. It's so quick with the jet boil. Quickest camping coffee I've had yet. So we stayed up a little bit too late last night. I think it was about 12:30 when we went to bed. The problem with sitting around a roaring fire and, you know, drinking a bit of goon, the evening just flies by. But yeah, it got really, really cold. Didn't really bring enough bedding, to be honest. Got off about 2:30, put on this jacket, went and grabbed my sleeping bag, which out of the changing tent, which was sort of the auxiliary heat as we were sleeping. So, and then I sort of woke up about 6 and sort of slept on and off till about 7. It's now 7:30. So I'm thinking I'm going to finish this coffee. I'm going to get changed and actually put on my hiking boots. I might go for a bit of a morning hike down the old train line, but just explore a little bit beyond the bridge. Just because I never have. I've explored, like I was saying yesterday, I've explored in the other direction. It basically just peters out until it hits farmland. So yeah, I thought I'd just go for a bit of a walk that way and see what I can find. Well, good morning, bridge. What lies beyond thou? Bit of a closer look at the bridge. So there was quite a bit of dirt compacted on it at one time, which has probably led to most of its downfall, really. Let's see what's down here. Probably not much. So we can see more drainage channels there, running along here as well. Are these just bits of tree or remnants of the railway? I guess they're bits of tree regardless, aren't they? I don't know if those are sleepers. They don't really seem like the right shape. Whew, a little bit tired. Always a bit of a risk staying up late when you camp, because you're probably just going to wake up as soon as the sun rises, which is exactly what happened today. I probably still got a solid 6 hours sleep, so could be better, could be worse. Tell you what though, nothing freshens you up like a flannel of cold water on the face and freshly clean teeth. Feel like a new man. A new man. Oh, I'm not sure how long I'm going to follow this for, because it's probably time for coffee number 2 and breakfast. What do we have here? That could be a sleeper. Pretty good chance. So the embankment is about to finish and looks like it's turning into a cutting. These must be railway sleepers for sure. A few more over here. They just ain't your typical logs. Yeah, I reckon I'll just follow it to the end of this cutting and see what's what. Of course, the farther I walk, the farther I have to go back. That looks like another telephone pole for sure. Well, I might call it here. This is the point where it more or less peters out into nothingness. We do have one final potential sleeper to look at, but I don't have reception, by the way. This is just sort of cached, but as you can see, if I keep heading that way, it's just bush for a really long time. So yeah, I think I might head back, have some coffee, eat some sausages. Then we've got a full day of stuff that I want to do today. I want to check out a town site that was never built, an old farm homestead. What else we're doing? Looking at some fire lookouts, maybe 2, definitely 1. We do have a little 12K hike to throw in there at the same time, as well as a forestry village, which is pretty unique this far east. I reckon we might be on an old service road here. Kind of looks like a bit of a road. So yeah, very interesting. I am surprised by this fog. It's nearly 8:30 as I record this, and the fog has just completely rolled through this where we're camping. So pretty cool to wake up to this. There we are, done. Got a camp. I was worried about the tilt a little bit. Sorry, I think my microphone just kicked in there mid-sentence. I was worried about the tilt there a little bit, but neither of us could feel it. So yeah, let's go. How about we go and check out, I think there is a bee crawling on me. I'm just about to say, where is she? There she is. Let's go to a town that, let's go to a town that never was.
I remember last time we landed flower, I was like, no, we're doing the log cabin. And you're like, no, we're doing the teepee.
So what we see here, I'm just pulled over on the side of the road obviously, is a bunch of bush. But this was to be the town site of Congelin, which was more or less never built. It was gazetted in 1913, and there was an oval and a cricket club in there somewhere. I believe there is a cricket pitch. I did have a look on Landgate and Google Maps, and through the years there does seem to be a consistent rectangular grey blob. I thought about going in there and trying finding it, but I can't really be bothered, to be honest. There was one building built for Congelin, however, and it's just down there, so I guess that'll be the next stop. Yeah, so this hall was actually built in 1911, so several years before Congelin was gazetted. It was used as a school from 1933 to 1942, but it was unfortunately destroyed by a very short, very intense storm in 2020. Yeah, apparently it only took 10 minutes to be destroyed, which is just nuts. Even the glass is still intact, but lost its roof. I can't believe those windows are still there. Stage over there. This is Congelin. Over there, I believe it's the 14-mile brook. Okay, stop number 2 for the day. This is the Bells Homestead, otherwise known as the Happy Homestead on Google Maps. I believe that's what that sign used to say when you look it up on Street View. But it was built by John Douglas Bell in 1912. And I'm unsure if I'm really allowed to sort of walk in here and have a look. So keep it quick, keep it sweet. What are those things? The old mud brick walls. Very cool. So this building here that's in disarray was the blacksmith shed. So apparently inside there should be a forge, bellows, an anvil, and other tools for blacksmithing. And that would be a really cool hobby. I really love to get into blacksmithing, but pretty sure I've got enough hobbies. Yeah, I don't want to get too close. Lest a bit of roof falls on me, but yeah, you can tell it is an active farm. So I don't want to get spotted by an angry farmer. We'll have a quick look at this house and we'll get back on the road. Supposedly there is a shearing shed over there as well. That's original to the time period, but from what I can see, it looks pretty modern, so I'm not going to push my luck. Yeah. Can't see anyone. Just be quick. There's a bathroom, outhouse down there. The actual house itself is all boarded up, of course. Love this fence though. It's like the sort of wood you'd find in a creek. There's quite a bit of traffic around here. It's pretty busy. And amazingly, there's no phone reception whatsoever. I don't think I've had phone reception since we drove through Wandering. Obviously there are quite a few people that live around here, plus it is a tourist precinct, so I'm surprised they don't have some sort of phone tower somewhere. Anyway, let's get out of here before angry Farmer Jack appears. Well, we've come up to this lookout. It used to be a fire lookout. So it's Contine, I don't know, I feel like whichever one I choose, I'll get it wrong. Pretty good facilities here, considering it's in the middle of nowhere. Got a pretty new toilet, sparkling clean barbecue. Looks like it's electric as well. And then we also have views. So there's a short walk up there to check out the remains of the fire towers. So we'll do just that. Yeah, check this out, a little fire pit. Camping's apparently not allowed. Yeah, wow, check that out. And this is the first time we've had phone reception since yesterday. So there is a phone tower around here somewhere. I was saying everything's brand new, but it looks like it was built in 2014, so it's well looked after. Some information about living here if you want to pause and have a read, but there used to be a house which was down near the Dunny. Apparently these two tanks are original to that. You know, they're pretty old looking, so it's not surprising. There was no power. They had kerosene lights, a kerosene fridge, and a petrol-powered washing machine. All right, the consensus seems to be Contine, so don't at me, bro. So this, maybe this is where the house was? Don't know. Let's go for a very short walk. And this isn't the hike I was mentioning, by the way. We do have a 12-kilometer hike, which is probably our next stop, actually. There is a TARDIS around here somewhere. I had a look on the map when I had no internet and I couldn't find it. There you go. So here's the remains of fire tower number 1. Obviously, when all these trees weren't here, it would have been a pretty good view up here. You pretty much have 180 degrees, if not more. Here we are, remains of fire tower number 2. So I guess this must just go around in a loop. Yeah, very cool. Yep, as predicted, loops around. Yeah, pretty cool. I didn't really have this on the proper planning for the route I was taking. It was sort of a last minute thing, but I'm glad I came up here. And just so you know, that toilet is extremely clean. There's Annika in the TARDIS.
Water's not open all the way.
Yeah, I'll have pepperoni, extra cheese. No, this joke's not going anywhere. Goodbye. So I can make a very obvious joke about the name of this place, but someone on Google Maps really beat me to it. So this is our hike for today. 12.5 kilometers, the Lowell Grey Trail Loop. So basically we're going to do a bit of a figure eight across the main road, whatever that road's called, and to Dryandra Village. And I will go into the history of Dryandra Village. So in my notes, I have it named the Dryandra Woodland Settlement. That was the third time I tried to say that sentence. I think that's the best I'm going to get, so I'm just going to roll with that. So this is a former forestry settlement, and it's built in 1935. And it comprises of timber workers' cottages, a manager's house, a former school, recreational hall, a pump house, and the site of an old mill and its dam. So I've got quite a few notes here, so I'm just going to pump through them as we walk. And as soon as I say that, I'll lose my spot. So the location is somewhat rare this far east. It was based around the mallet tree industry, specifically the bark. And I believe that is these trees here. Maybe I should walk down this hill first before reading any more notes. I was under the impression this was quite a flat hike, and I guess that's not the case. Okay, we've made it to the bottom. Hi, Hank. Let's continue reading my notes. So where was I? Mallet trees, yes. So the bark is actually what's harvested. These were naturally occurring in the area, but the bark was harvested so much that they started plantations, I guess you could say. So these were first planted in 1923. And in the end, there was 8,300 hectares worth. And that was between 1926 and 1962. The bark would be used for German leather tanning and also to create axe handles. The more you know. Close to the settlement is also the location of the Dryandra Nursery, which opened in 1958. They grew native trees there and provided them to farmers and local government authorities. Of all places, the nursery was actually moved from Kalgoorlie. So yeah, bit of a move and definitely a pretty wild change in the landscape. But the whole mallet tree business, this stopped in the 1960s and the land was earmarked for conservation. Apparently the market dried up, there's synthetic competitors coming online, cheaper competitors, stuff like that. As you can see, there is quite a lot of stumps around here. So this was definitely originally a plantation. So the settlement we're heading to, and I'm sort of saying all this now because I expect there to be like people and stuff hanging around, so I thought it'd be better to get through the notes as I'm walking through the bush. So there was a calm compound there, but they moved to Narrogin in 1972. The whole settlement is now a holiday park, which is run by Lions International. They also took over in 1972, And it seems quite cheap, but you do have to bring your own bedding and clean it before you leave. But I was seeing prices of only $100 per night for a self-contained like cottage. So pretty cool. I think they're in high demand. I was looking at the Facebook group or Facebook page for them, and you know, they would post that they had, you know, a cancellation or something like that, and it would only take like 5 minutes for it to be nabbed up. So seems like a cool place to stay if you can get a reservation, a booking. Cool, we've got another big hill to climb up now. I should really stop trusting the All Trails reviews. People always seem to downplay the hills and whatever else. They always say, oh yeah, it was a pretty good, pretty easy walk. Sure. Up the hill we go. So yeah, this would have all been plantations. Stumps everywhere. Bit of a creek there, I guess, probably during the winter months. Yeah. Some of the bark for the mallet tree. It's very stringy. Ooh. There we are. Pretty decent climb. Luckily, we do have a bag of chips if we get hungry. If we need a bit of an energy boost. So I'll link the All Trails track in the description if you would like to check it out yourself. I believe other reviews I read commented on the how much the terrain changed as you go. Like pretty decent changes for only 12k in a loop. Already we're in a very different environment. So at the settlement, Cottage 16, otherwise known as Bankshire, is thought to be the oldest forestry house in the entire state, although it isn't totally original. Check that out. So it was originally built in 1925, and it was actually at the fire lookout, the Lowell Grey fire lookout we were just at, where I've parked my car. So it was relocated to the settlement in the 40s. Unfortunately, when you look at the Lions website and list all the cottages, they all have names, but Bankshire isn't actually listed. So we'll see if we can figure out which one it is when we get there. Hopefully we don't intrude on, you know, some couple having a nice weekend getaway. I guess that's what we're doing. So the garden around Cottage 382, and I guess the naming conventions aren't consistent. This was originally the car manager's house, but apparently that includes original fruit trees around it. So this is a remnant of a time when the community had to be somewhat self-sufficient. Apparently there are also cows and pigs. Well, I'm only 20 minutes in, but it's been a very nice hike so far, which is good. I've been looking forward to this. This is sort of our last section of the trip, I guess you could say. It says over there that it should take 4 hours. Hopefully it doesn't actually take 4 hours because we'll never bloody get home. But we're young and fit, aren't we? So, yeah.
That's good.
So around here in this general vicinity was a school, and this was for the children of the forestry settlement. So it looks like we have a plaque over here. Like many school sites around the wheat belt, there's not really any ruins. Oh, yes there are. Spoke too soon. That's a lot more than you'll generally see. Dryandra school site, known as Lowell Grey, 1937 to 1939, renamed Dryandra from 1940 to 1950, erected in memory of former students and teachers, unveiled in 1988. That's definitely a lot more than you usually see for a school site, because, you know, settlements finished up, you know, or whatever. The kids left, and so did the school. Usually they would pack up the entire school and move it somewhere else. So we have a crossroads. It's all part of the trail. Like I said, it is like a bit of a figure eight All trails tells us to go that way. The sign is telling us to go this way, and I'm inclined to follow the sign. You may have watched my hike at John Forest, Eagle View hike? I don't know, something like that. Anyway, all trails recommended doing that anti-clockwise, and that was against what all the signs, which way the signs were pointing, if that makes sense. So I kept missing the signs because they were only pointing in one direction. I'm not really so keen on making that mistake again, so yeah, I'm just going to obey the sign for now. And yet again, we've got a variation in terrain. Very cool. There's not many trails you can do where it keeps changing so much. Usually it's pretty much the same the entire way, which can be a good and bad thing, depending on depending on what terrain is being consistent, I guess. I am sorry, I am babbling. I am tired. And I was nearly considered skipping this hike and just going home, but I'm happy now that I'm out here. So the only problem with that is you'll have to put up with me babbling. Looks like we're entering another plantation now. You can see it just very suddenly stops, and they're more or less in a row. So we're currently just about 4.5 k's in, and we've been going for not even an hour yet, so making pretty good time. So there was that initial gully we went through, but it's been completely flat after that. Some of the other reviews by All Trails users, so they use it as like a running track, which makes sense now that I can see how flat it is. No doubt there'll be a few more gullies at the very end to get us back to the car park. Getting pretty close to the settlement now. I'm not sure how much I'll be able to film and talk. If there's lots of people there, I'd imagine there probably is, considering it is a long weekend. Yeah, this is certainly a unique hike. Not only is there the changing environments, but has a bit of history to it as well, and it has mostly been flat. I believe all these Nissen huts were the Calm compound up until the 1970s. So we're not entirely sure, but we think that's where Annika's parents met originally in the 1970s while at university. Like when I was in Dryandra, there's not really any other place like here elsewhere in the state forest. So we are off route right now, we're off the track, but I thought I'd just check this place out while we're here. This is the town hall I was talking about, and just behind it should be the remains of an old mill and its dam. Quite a large field behind the settlement as well. I'd imagine that's where the cows and pigs were. These days, just kangaroos. Safety zone. And here's the likely remains of the mill. There's more here than I thought, to be honest. Yeah, 1951, I think. 1957? Or 1959, I don't know. That's how I read it. The 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing to do with a mill.
You say, oh,
Taking a wrong turn. There is now a fence. So yeah, pretty cool place. Might see if I can mab a booking here one day, and then we can go to the local nocturnal thingo nearby. It's supposed to be quite good. How do we get over this fence without breaking it? Well, the fence is pretty much down over there, but we have to deal with the gang of kangaroos.
not the kangaroos.
The kangaroos. Well, I haven't seen any fruit trees yet, so I'm not sure which cottage it is that was referred to before. I've also got no idea which one's which. I'm not going to go door to door. But one of these cottages, supposedly, the very first forestry cottage in the entire state. Ain't that a bit of something? Annika's pointed out those trees there. They sort of seem like fruit trees from a distance, considering they have netting and whatnot around them. But anyway, mystery for another time. Let's finish this hike. Okay, back on track. That says 5 hours. So far it's taken us an hour and a half. We're halfway and included a detour to down here off photo to the dam. So 5 hours depended on you, I guess. Unfortunately, we haven't seen any critters. I guess there's still a chance. Numbats, are they nocturnal? I think they are.
Yeah.
All we've seen so far is that possum that was trying to steal our food last night.
There are a couple of possums.
There were 2 possums. Trash bandits.
We only got one at our campsite.
Well, I definitely spoke too soon. Just as I was saying, I haven't seen any critters. There's an echidna. I think it's trying to get away from us though. So I'm just going to leave it alone. We've taken our photos. See you, buddy. So it turns out we took a wrong turn, but I'm okay with that because we saw the echidna, which is still just hanging out over there. Been in an echidna, eating some ants. See you, buddy. As cool as these plantations are, and I know they are heritage now, but just look how dead the ground is. It's not very natural. There we go, you can tell the plantation more or less ends. Got a lot more ground cover now. I have a recommendation for a YouTube channel. I've been doing a little bit of research into the bibman track in the hope of one day doing it. Not sure when. It's probably a couple of years away really. In the short term, I'll probably do the Cape to Cape, maybe next year. We'll see how we go. But there's an American guy who's been doing the bibman track, and in real time he actually just finished, but he's still releasing videos, and he releases a video for every single day of hiking. It appears that he films it on his phone and then edits it on his phone and then uploads it whenever he has signal, which is a pretty crazy workflow for me, but I respect it. But the YouTube channel is called Church of the Masochist Hike, or it's similar to that. I'll put it on screen now and of course link it in the description, but yeah, it's well worth a watch. It's great seeing an American's point of view, someone who appears to do a lot of really like long distance through hikes over in the States. One I looked up was like 3,000 kilometers long. So he's making pretty short work of the bib. It's pretty flat. But yeah, go check him out. Soon he'll be doing the Cape to Cape as well. And since I am considering doing that in the short term, I'll be watching very intently. I guess there's probably no water in the creek. dry as a bone. I'm sure this area looks fantastic during the wet seasons.
Split pace, 14 minutes, 39 seconds per kilometre.
Well, we're on the home stretch now. This has been a fantastic walk. I'd highly recommend it if you're looking for a hike in the region. It's a shame I'm so damn tired. There's a cold can of Coke waiting for me back at the car, which I'm looking forward to. I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine, so that should perk me right up for the drive home. That's also another good thing about Dryandra. It's only 2 hours away, so yeah, I love Dryandra. And like I said, I'm a little bit kooky this morning because of the lack of sleep. I can't remember if I've really talked about it yet, but the lack of sleep wasn't because of the new setup. The new setup was fantastic. Annika's been wanting me to bring it down for a long time. I should have listened. I'm so sorry. But yeah, like it was just really comfortable in there, not being so close to the ceiling as you sleep. The platform itself is more or less the same mattress, all of that. So yeah, and I feel like my watch has tricked me into feeling more tired than I actually am. Because it felt like when I woke up that I had a good 6 hours sleep, but then my watch said I only had 4.5 hours sleep. So now I feel like I've only had 4.5 hours sleep. So I don't know which one's correct. It might just be in my head. And a nice bit of a hill to finish things off. Echidna 2 for the day. Hey buddy, I'm just here to gawk at you a bit. No worries, all good. I can see why there's a fire tower here now. Well, I can see why there was a fire tower, I should say. So that hike took us just under 3 hours, and that's including the detour to the dam. It's probably another kilometre or so all in, so if you keep up a good pace, it's definitely not going to take 4 or 5 hours, the sign says.
I got 2.5 on here.
Yeah. So since I've bought the jet boil, we decided to give some of these hiking meals a go, which we've just bought from Anaconda. Same place we bought the new kitchen, actually. It's all food related. So we're not really expecting much, but we've got to try them. Careful. What's the sachet for?
Is that the gravy? Oh, I went a little bit above the line actually.
Well, what do I do with this? Just got a hole in it. Because I just added in?
It did say remove.
Yeah, I know, but I mean like add in the contents.
I guess so.
Because it doesn't mention it again. Oh, well, it can possibly go wrong.
I'm just still assuming that must be the gravy, surely. Or the mashed potato, possibly? I don't know. I was just expecting it to be more of a reddish colour. And it's kind of a, especially I guess what it looked like when it was dry, but it's kind of a
Bit more of a
yellowy.
yellow.
Yeah. Turn this down. Yeah, it's probably not.
Salty.
No,
Yeah.
not really.
I'll try a little piece.
Yeah. It's probably not $15 fine, but it's edible enough.
Yeah. Tastes like dehydrated or rehydrated vegetables.
Yeah.
Like the ones you get with, you know, packets of noodles and stuff.
Yeah, a cup of soup.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, mine looked pretty grim when it was dry. So, yeah, we'll see. Well, it's 10 minutes of my life. Alright. The big reveal of the... I don't even know if I said what I have. I guess you could probably read the packet. Roast lamb and vegetables.
You really shouldn't have put the mash in with it.
Well, when was I supposed to put in the
Is
mash?
it not meant to be like separate? And then you could,
Well, it was all powder though.
but you could put it in the other bag. And then add it afterwards instead of like mixing it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
It's probably okay.
probably okay.
Anyway, I don't know how well you can see that, but yeah. Appetizing. It doesn't smell very nice. Definitely hot.
That's good.
Yeah, you know what? It's fine. I don't know if I'd ever buy these again. For hiking meals, there's all sorts of stuff you can do, like even just a cup of noodles. You can just buy, you know, packets of rice, can of tuna, that sort of thing. Like, it's going to be way better than this.
You might be hard pressed to find an 800 calorie, 33 grams of protein vegan meal there.
No, you could always just eat a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah, you could do that.
I've noticed people have been doing that. In some of the hiking videos I've been watching, they always seem to have like a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think I might wrap the video up. So, thank you so much for watching. Please, you know, don't forget to subscribe and like and hype. All that stuff that YouTubers always say, but it actually is useful for us. So,
I forgot about the bell.
I don't care about the bell.
It's
Bell.
all the stuff that YouTubers say.
The bell can get fucked.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh, and comment. Did you say, yeah.
Yeah, comment about my grim meal.